Sound linger. Not yet time. Come.
Firefly Type 4. Activate!
You want to betray me? Eternal.
Resonate with me!
They'll unite our goals.
Set! Attack!
Until everything burns to ashes! Every petal
All will be swept away by the wind.
set the seas aflame! Fight to live!
Intermission break!
Immolate in my death! Set the seas aflame!
Take a bit of rock and roll!
Can't wait anymore! Fight to live!
Memories.
So beautiful! Let's see this like clouds scattered. Etched in your bones! Dreams of a path. Let us dance once more.
Tickle!
Set the seas aflame! You want to betray me?
Your smile is contagious!
Fight to live! Set the seas aflame!
Tickle! Shows! Oh!
Sound linger. Not yet time. Come.
Firefly Type 4. Activate!
Can't wait anymore. Eternal. Share good fortunes.
Attack!
Every petal.
All will be swept away by the wind.
Like until everything burns to ashes! Fight to live! Set the seas aflame! And last, immolate in my death!
Memories.
So beautiful! Starboard! You want to betray me? Tacked it to my cattle! Fight to live! Set the seas aflame! Fight to live! Gonna quit! No, you got left! Set the seas aflame! This time, fight to live! Incense ascend. Not yet time. Come.
Firefly Type 4. Activate!
Can't wait anymore. They'll unite our goals.
Attack!
Like until everything burns to ashes! Set the seas aflame! Fight to live! Immolate in my death! Allow me time to cleanse the filth. Set the seas aflame! You want to betray me? Let's seize this fine moment. Clouds scattered. Get it together. Etched in your bones. Fight to live! Can't wait anymore. Be of your body and mind. Set the seas aflame! Fight to live! No holding back. Dream vanished.
Memories.
All done. So beautiful! Immolating my death! Made the hit! That's fine. I set the seas aflame! You want to betray me? Fight to live! And fetch to your bones! Everything in this world is bleeding. Have we share good fortunes? Set the seas aflame! Can't wait anymore. Fight to live! Recalibrating. Time to cleanse the children.
Initiate attack!
Until everything burns to ashes! I set the seas aflame! Fight to live! So beautiful! Dreams of a... Let us dance once more. Immolating my death! Cloud scattered. Be of your body and mind! Set the seas aflame! You want to betray me? Fight to live! The candle flickers in your breath, etched in your bones. No holding back. Dream vanished. Firefly type set the seas aflame! Can't wait anymore. Fight to live! Sound linger. Not yet time to return. Come.
Firefly Type 4. Activate!
Can't wait anymore. Accept the penalties. Enjoying yourself, Eternal. Unite our goals.
Detonate!
Until everything burns to ashes!
Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Set the seas aflame! Fight to live!
Memories.
You're all done. So beautiful! Etched in your bones! Attack detected! Firefly set the seas aflame! You want to betray me? Fight to live! Dream vanished. The candle flickered, immolating my death. Dreams of a... Let us dance once more. I am laughter and happiness. Set the seas aflame! Fight to live! Pain too with Let's seize this fine moment. Clouds scattered. And blue etched in your bones. Set the seas aflame! You want to betray me? Some existence is unity. Fight to live! The candle flicked, immolating my death. Unite our goals. Give us a smile time to witness. This is more than battle. Set the seas aflame! Can't wait anymore. There's more to life. And last words. Etched in your bones. No holding back. Dream vanished. You want to betray me? Like until everything burns to ashes!
Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Fight to live!
Now please, drown in laughter.
So beautiful! Is it not Lingsha? The mountain is on you, I suppose. Fight to live! Set the seas aflame! Falling for me already. Emulating my death! Cloud scatter. There's more to life. Existence is unity. Fight to live! Pain to revelation! Wait anymore. Set the seas aflame! The candle flickers in your etched in your bones. Have we met? Share good fortunes. Dreams of a past. Let us dance once more. This is fight to live! Let's go see what he's up to. I wonder what that is. Time to return. Come.
Firefly Type 4. Activate!
You want to betray me? Existence is unity. There will share good fortunes.
Joining the battle. Detonate!
Until everything burns to ashes!
Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Set the seas aflame! Fight to live!
Koalabot, heal us!
Set the seas aflame! The candle flickers in your breath, immolating my death. Dream vanished. Grace and fight to live! Can't wait anymore. Set the seas aflame! Etched in your bones. Fight to live! Want to betray me? Recalibrating. No holding the cloud scatter. So beautiful. There's more to eternal. Firefly Type 4 in dreams of a past life. Let us dance once more. Set the seas aflame! Fight to live! Fallen from immolating my death. Share good fortunes.
Set the attack!
I wonder what that is. Not yet time. Come.
Firefly Type 4. Activate!
You want to betray me? Existence is unity. They'll unite our goals. There's more.
Joining the attack!
Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Like until everything burns to ashes! Fight to live! Set the seas aflame! Firefly Type 4 fight to live! Set the seas aflame! Fallen for etched in your bones! Memory. All done. So beautiful! Have we cloud scattered? Fight to live! spicy. Not yet time. Something ominous has arrived.
Firefly Type 4. Activate.
You want to betray me? And last immolated my death. Unite our goals.
Salmon. Attack.
Can't wait anymore. Like until everything burns to ashes! Firefly type sets the seas aflame! Fight to live! The stench of evil. Time to cleanse the filth. The true everything in this world is bleeding. The candle flickers in your breath. This is set in the seas aflame! You want to betray me? Fight to live!
The flesh wound.
Memories. You're all done. So beautiful! Clouds scattered.
The flesh wound.
Set the seas aflame! Fight to live!
Rise to the challenge.
Dreams of a... Let us dance once more. Immerse yourself in it.
Rise to the challenge.
Set the seas aflame! Can't wait anymore. Fight to live! Dream vanished.
Rise to the challenge.
Recalibrate one. Time to cleanse the filth. And last immolated my death. The truth. Everything in this world is bleeding. Set the seas aflame! You want to betray me? Fight to live!
For chivalry.
Spicy. Still not yet time. Something ominous has arrived.
Firefly Type 4. Activate.
You want to betray me? Have we met? Unite our goals.
Detonate.
Etched in your bones. Like until everything burns to ashes! Dreams of a... Let us dance once more. Memories. You're all done. So beautiful! Can't wait anymore.
Target sight.
Set the seas aflame! Fight to live! Immerse yourself. Time to cleanse the filth. Attack detected. Set the seas aflame! No holding back. Clouds scattered. Immolate in my depths! Allow me to be of your body and mind! Firefly, fight! To live! You want to betray me? Set the seas ablaze! The true everything in this world is bleeding. Not this time. Dream vanished. The candle flickers, etched in your bones. Memories. All dead. So beautiful. Fight to live! Can't wait anymore. Set the seas ablaze! Time to cleanse the filth. This is getting fun. This is fight to live! Set the seas ablaze! Immolate in my death! Have we share good fortunes? Dreams of a... Let us dance once more. Fight to live! You want to betray me? Set the seas ablaze! Incense ascend. Come, not yet time.
Firefly Type 4. Activate!
Can't wait anymore. They'll share good fortunes.
Detonate!
Etched in your bones. Memories. So beautiful. Like I'm so everything. Burns to ashes! Fight to live! You want to betray me? Set the seas ablaze! Time to cleanse the filth. No dream vanished. Immolate in my death! Fight to live! Can't wait anymore. Set the seas ablaze! This is getting fun. Dreams of a... Let us dance once more. And etched in your bones. Yeah. Clouds scattered. Fight to live! You want to betray me? Set the seas ablaze! Immolate in my death! Fight to live! Can't wait anymore. May the foul stench depict. Unite our goals. Set the seas ablaze! Etched in your bones. Memories too. So beautiful. Fight to live! You want to betray me? Set the seas ablaze! Like I'm so everything. Burns to ashes! Fight to live! Allow me time to cleanse the filth. Dream vanished. Set the seas ablaze! The candle immolate in my death! May the foul be of your body and mine! Clouds scattered. The true everything in this world is bleeding. Fight to live!
will be swept away by the wind.
Fight to live! You want to return me? Set the seas away! So beautiful! Keep up! Finish it! Let the hunt begin! Take hold in fight to live! Clouds scatter. I cannot put them on my dance.
Hello everyone, Koala here. So, as I promised, we went over the gameplay mechanics of Firefly, the novaflare. So, after you watch all of it. So, MOC, pure fiction, anomaly attribution, and anomaly arbitration, and then I forget what the other one is. Apocalypse Shadow. Okay. So, first and foremost, before I talk about like the build and then what I think about Firefly, we'll simply go over the changes. In terms of what has changed, nothing has really changed from the last time I made the video about how Firefly works. The biggest thing here is she has increased her own super big multiplier from 50% to 150%. So this 300% break effect is a joke to get. So this is not hard. So you will always have 100% super big damage multiplier. This is insanely high. This is very high for a DPS to even have. Because remember, Homely Trailblazer has like 180%. She gives 150% to herself every time she attacks. And she's also a very fast character. Like you build her really fast, like 260 speed while in combustion state, and she's basically speedrunning these 100%, 50% super big damage multiplier. So if we take into account that this thing went from 50% to 150%, this is probably like a 40% damage bonus. But it spikes even higher if you count E2. Because for E2, we'll talk about that later. But we have to first talk about like her base kit, so at E0. When it comes to another her bonus ability, so she has lost the one of the biggest things she has lost is when she's in her enhanced state. So when she's in she's in the combustion state. She now also implants the fire witness to both the designated enemy and then the two adjacent ones. So her blast always implant 3 times, assuming there's a group of 5 enemies. Like say in a group of 5 or a group of 3, she always implant for each one. We will talk about this when it comes down to like Dahlia synergy, but needless to say, as a result of this, this old trace used to say Firefly's blast attack for non-fire weak enemies, which is basically only the side to side because this main toy always had implant before. It used to do 55% of the omni toughness, so basically it knows weakness, break effects, and then it also it knows weakness effects, and then it also does 55% of the toughness damage, so 55% omni toughness damage. That's the way it's called. Since Firefly now implants on all the targets she actually hits, there's no point for that talent anymore. So her talent has been changed to increase her own break effect by 25%. This is pretty minor, and then she also now delays her own complete combustion state by 10% for every time she inflicts a weakness break on a target up to 3 times per ultimate state. So this is a relatively minor change. Most of the time, it doesn't really help you. So delaying, like say in MOC, most of the time, delaying this complete combustion state doesn't really do much. You would clear in 1 cycle, 0 to 1 cycle anyways. So being able to just have 30% more time is not particularly helpful. So this is not a really good trace. It's great if you have it. It's great. It's just good to have if you want to play a slower firefight, because you can now. But it's not particularly like game changing. It doesn't do much. Okay, last but not least, the biggest fry in the bunch. For her E2 got completely changed. So now her complete, as you can see in like in the former fights I had, her complete combustion state now now can trigger every time every Sam turn or every Firefly turn. Which basically, and then basically it's another way of saying it. It's like think of it as Seely's gimmick. So Seely's gimmick is that if Seely gets a kill on someone, she will get an extra turn where she can attack, right? This is basically the same thing as Firefly. So you cannot get an extra turn from an extra turn, but you can extra turn back to back to back for every time Firefly gets a turn. And remember, Firefly is really fast. She gains 60 base speed from this bonus trace here, from her ultimate. Right, she gains 60 base speed from her ultimate. You usually build her really fast, like 170 speed, 150 speed, and then Dahlia gives her 30% speed bonus. And then on top of that, she also has all the little things where, you know, you probably play Ruan Mei with her for an extra 10% speed or about 10 speed. And all of that combined basically makes this trait really broken. Like this analog is incredibly broken because you can basically E2 every single turn. If you play correctly and you know how to set up, you can do it every turn. And as I shown, if you look back to the Pure Fiction fight, specifically the Pure Fiction fight, you notice I basically ran over all the bosses. There was no boss that could stand in my way. If the boss could be broken, I always focus the boss. So I focus the main boss here, and then I also deal with it. But I will go more into that. I will go more into that as I talk about how I feel about Firefly for each of the gameplay, each of the game modes, and then, but only more specifically, the specific bosses that you could probably see. But otherwise, just like TLDR, like too lazy didn't read or didn't listen, actually, TLDL, this E2 is incredibly broken. Like, it's being able to just be changing it from once every other turn, so once every 2 turns for Firefly, to once every turn is so insanely broken because you can basically uniquely double your damage like a Seely. So you basically have a Seely like with an Agalia speed. So basically think of it as what happened if Agalia was really fast, maybe you had an Agalia with a Seely. This is basically Firefly now. It's kind of insane. Okay, when it comes to when it comes to synergy, right? Firefly for sure has one of the best synergies with Dahlia. The benefit of having E2 with Dahlia thing, and then with the 10% reduction, and then like her really high base speed and her really high damage because now she has 150% super big multi, is that Dahlia's trace here with the follow-up attack is really nice. If you own E2 Firefly, you can use this follow-up attack not to recover skill points, but to use it for a little bit more toughness damage to the boss. Because certain bosses have really high toughness balls for some reason, and you can use that to kind of chip just enough that you can get Firefly E2 to fully prop the boss. And since break damage the initial break damage, not super break, the initial break damage scales off of the amount of damage, the amount of toughness damage you initially did to break the enemy, you can basically get like maybe 90 toughness damage worth of break damage just immediately popping. And that's why you saw for certain bosses like Sparksea boss and Anomaly Attribution, you saw like Sparksea, you saw for Fei Zhao, I was reaching 7 million on just a blast attack, which is incredible. Which is basically I blew her out of the water. And if you see for Fei Zhao specifically, I didn't even get her to do her gimmick where I got the little like circle thing because I killed her so fast it just didn't matter. That's actually the second phase. Another big thing that I need to mention, of course the speed is there. That didn't change from Firefly's old trace. The biggest one is additionally deals fits this part of the talent here, where if a fire ally implants a weakness, which is Firefly, only Firefly can do this other than Dahlia, you also deal an additional fits 25 toughness damage. This basically means Firefly's blast attack now just an extra 40 toughness damage, assuming there's 3 enemies on the field. Basically, she has her initial one, which is her initial damage on the main target, that didn't change. Her 2 side targets gain an extra 20 fits toughness damage, which is actually pretty strong. It basically means your Firefly has reached the point with just a Ruan Mei and a Dahlia. You don't need Fugue E1, right? You just have Dahlia you just have Ruan Mei. That's enough to basically blast and break from 100 to 0 the toughness of basically every mob in the game. Any little mob that you always accompany any boss will always get basically 100%, like 100 to 0. Not the elite mobs, the tiny ones. So like we think about like if we look at Hulei's little wolf trooper, that's enough to basically 100 to 0 them. Which is basically, and as I mentioned with how E2 works, because it also works with E2, this technically counts as Firefly's toughness damage. So if you break the enemy using this, because you pretty much guarantee you always break those side-to-side mobs, you basically going to get E2 every turn, because if those mobs keep summoning over and over, like in Pure Fiction, you're just going on over and over and over again. It's incredibly busted. The combination of this E2, of Firefly E2 with this 20 extra fire toughness damage to guarantee you will break any tiny mob is just so insanely broken. And even then, for mobs that cannot be broken, right? Let's say we look at Peacock, like a mob that can be broken until you hit the mob 6 times. The thing about it is that this is an extra 25 toughness damage that you just get for free. You just do more damage naturally, and because Dahlia gives everyone always allows the dance partner to always do toughness damage or to do damage, right? Regardless of if the enemy's weakness broken, you're getting this 60% here, then Firefly's 150%, and then Fugue 100% all at the same time. That is so incredible that you do it every turn. And if you have, of course, if you have E2, you do it twice every turn, and like it's crazy. And then this trace is kind of useless, but otherwise, yeah, that's Dahlia synergy. Of course, Fugue synergy is only so Fugue has basically before debuff, Fugue has been mostly tied to Firefly E2. This is no different. Fugue is way more powerful with Firefly E2. Basically, if you own Firefly E2, it's more important than ever you own Fugue, and that's just because the extra omni-toughness that she provides in this talent is so much of a lifesaver and so much of a quality of life change that just having it allow you Firefly to basically more consistently get E2 procs off. Since that's how it works, more E2 procs, more damage. Like, so that's all Fugue is really about. So Fugue is kind of like her value went down in terms of like, because she's not particularly great for Firefly outside of E2, because this omni-toughness doesn't really matter for Firefly. Right? Because even though Firefly's new trace here has 30% damage, up to 30% delay, that you can get this naturally just by getting Firefly's 4 Firefly turns. You don't need to worry about getting Omni-Toughness to get this out. So Fugue's Omni-Toughness is mostly useless on Firefly. I can't say it's useless. It's mostly useless on Firefly outside of having E2. But of course, if you have Firefly E2, Fugue's value shoots up to the moon. She's probably one of the best units in the game for Firefly, because she allows Firefly to get those E2 procs. Otherwise, Fugue is just your skill point battery. She's just here just to do a little bit of toughness damage and a little bit of damage. Otherwise, her damage is pretty trash. Like, all you can really do is just decrease defense. That's it. That's all she's here for. Okay, now for the 4th teammate, I will start off with Sustainless. So for Sustainless, the best unit in this case, in my opinion, the best unit for Firefly now is Ruan Mei, and actually it's not Homie Trailblazer anymore. The best 4th slot is Ruan Mei, and that's just because increasing damage is trash. Increasing the weakness break efficiency is, in my opinion, the most important thing. Because Firefly now has the 150% super big damage multiplier here. The value of Homie Trailblazer, who gives super big damage multiplier, actually went down because of saturation. The thing about it is, like, before, right? Before, you had about 210% super big damage multiplier with Firefly, Dahlia, Fugue. These three give you about 210%, and of course 210%, and then you add Homemade Trailblazers like 150%, let's say on average 120%. That's basically like maybe a 70% increase of damage. That's insanely high. Nowadays, because of this trace now giving 150% super big damage multiplier, it's 150, 60, 100, 210%. So now you see adding 120% is probably just a little bit under like 50, just a little bit over 50%. It went from like 70, 80% to 50%. That is a massive decrease in damage because of the saturation of super bait damage. As a result, just having 50% more weakness break efficiency, or 50% more weakness break efficiency is way more powerful on top of all the res pen, because res pen is not something that's very saturated. So having the 25% res pen is not a very oversaturated gimmick. The weakness rate delaying is not particularly, it's okay, it's not particularly great, but this doesn't really matter because Firefly does so much damage, you will kill. So this delay actually doesn't really matter most of the time. Or only matters for bosses. And most of the time for bosses, you just run them over before this will even happen. And since they have 2 phases, they'll just come right back up. And because they ignore this gimmick, if they are weakness broken, they die. When weakness broken, they fully come back up with second phase. Otherwise, the thing about Ruan Mei is that the 50% weakness efficiency with the 25% res pen, and then the fact that her E1 is free, you can get it basically by buying it in the shop. It's pretty much free for an extra 20% defense shred to basically near that 100% threshold. Basically means Firefly is way more broken with Ruan Mei than it is with Holy Trailblazer. At this point, having the DDD is not as important because since Firefly does so much damage, there's no point to need to action advance your team if your team already kills in 0 cycles. So if your team kills 0 cycle in MOC, who needs more action advance? You just need more damage, or you want to clear it slightly faster. Other than that, the DDD, even though losing DDD may suck, you can always play DDD on Ruan Mei here to kind of account for that. So you say we switch to dance, right? Sure, you can do that. It's better than Harmony Trailblazer's DDD. So other than that, that's just a result of that. That's what happens now because of the change. Okay, of course the next one we talk about is Harmony Trailblazer. Let me switch to Harmony. So Harmony Trailblazer's value is still pretty good. She's still one of the better 4 slots in the game. If you don't own Fugue or you don't own Firefly E2, Harmony Trailblazer is better than Fugue. If you replace Fugue with Harmony Trailblazer, or you can still play Fugue and you can just play Harmony Trailblazer with Fugue. So Ruan Mei's value is still not as important. And that's just because you're not taking so many turns, it doesn't matter. But as we can see, Harmony Trailblazer is still pretty good. So being able to still provide the being able to get the break effect, right? Being able to where is debuff? Being able to put the super break damage is insane. That's also pretty good. And then being able to get the Eidolon here, I think it's E4? Yeah, what is it? No, is it E1? Oh no, I don't remember. But one of the thing about her is that, or him or her, right? Is that this? Oh, there we go. So it increases it it goes from 100 to 160%. And then usually, if you account for most fights, there's always about 3 mobs. So you get 140%. That's pretty good. It's just more saturated now because of Firefly's own Super Ray multi. Otherwise, the same thing applies. If you want to, you play her on DDD, Dance Dance Dance, and then you just kind of keep up with that. Otherwise, she is a good alternative to Fugue. However, since Trailblazer herself or himself is very, very contested, Firefly don't really need her if you own Fugue. And that's just because like being super saturated and being super like wanted by a lot of characters, like because you want to play Remembrance for Moto Realm, you want to play Elation if you want to be playing Silver Wolf 99, Silver 999, level 99 to do Silver Wolf, or you want to play Evangelia, or you want to play all those characters, Elation is basically you. So because of how aggressive these characters are and how much they're so reliant on getting like you want characters with this, it's recommended now. I would recommend to not really focus Trailblazer and probably give Trailblazer to maybe like Mono Realm to just like reduce kind of like the cost of Mono Realm because Mono Realm is very strong, or to play Elation if you want to build Elation, and which will free up your Harmony Trailblazer for your team here, for your 5. You can always free him up and then always get another team. out because this 3 core and then a Ruan Mei or Lingsha is enough to basically carry you to any endgame content. Next up, we talk about Lingsha. So I'm going to talk about sustain now. Sustain, you only have 2 options, Lingsha and Gallagher. So I'm not going to really talk about Gallagher here because Gallagher is all the things that apply to Gallagher apply to Lingsha. So that's I'm just going to like say it like that. Pretty much anything that Gallagher, I would talk about Lingsha, Gallagher basically applies. So Lingsha is probably if I were to say, she's probably the weakest member of this trio here. She's of course very strong if you are playing into a boss that is particularly very heavy on the damage. So we think about Nicodor. If you say Nicodor, you say a lot of the Euphoria's bosses, Lingsha is pretty much required to use. When it comes to what she does, her benefit with Firefly actually kind of went down a little bit. Not by much as I thought, as I mentioned in the original thing, where I thought Lingsha was going to kind of suck because she would be taking away too much toughness damage. I found that's not really a problem because Firefly's toughness damage is so high and Lingsha's toughness damage is actually kind of low. There's actually not really the problem with Lingsha stealing the super breaks because how Firefly can activate her E2 when she kills a target or she super breaks or weakness breaks a target. There's not much of an issue of Lingsha maybe taking 1 break because you always have the Omni Toughness. Or even if the Omni Toughness goes down, that enemy will be so weakened, Firefly should be able to just kill them and get the E2 proc anyways. So there's not much of an issue for this. And then so otherwise, she's only just there if the boss requires you gotta use it. Otherwise, you rather just play Sustainless, and Sustainless is usually just better. But really, this character is just okay. Like, she's okay to use. That's it. But in terms of like everything else, her value is like much lower. So if you're investing into this team, her Eidolon, her light cone are just no value. You don't really need this. Like, increasing her weakness break efficiency is pretty bad. Reducing the defense is okay. Like, it basically just means like if you have this, you have the same thing as saying you have Ruan Mei without the 50% weakness break efficiency and without the low skill point, the SP positivity, without the speed, the res pen, and then like well all of that. So you have it, and then she may steal 1 or 2 breaks. I don't think this would change much because you're shoving everything to Firefly anyway. So. Really? Oh, oops. So, when it comes to build, Firefly build has, I will only really talk about the changes to a build. The only thing I really changed to a build is pretty much nothing. The amount of speed you want to get on Firefly has kind of slightly gone down. If you only care about MOC, I believe the speed is 150 something. So I can't tell you, I don't remember the exact number, but it's about 150 or 140, like around 140, 150. That's the speed you need in order to guarantee that Firefly will be able to get a maximum amount of turns in the 0 cycle of MOC while min-maxing your damage. However, if you also care about APOC or not Apocalypse Shadow, if you also care about Anomaly Arbitration, 180 speed is the number you want to hit. So hitting 180 speed basically gives Firefly just enough speed to be able to cycle one more combustion state skill into the 0 cycle of Anomaly Arbitration. Of course, in my opinion, that doesn't really matter because your damage is already so high. Like I beat the boss in 0 to 1 cycle on average. Like if the boss specifically has a damage reduction and then I have to start to wait in order to do the gimmick in order to one-shot them, Firefly still clears in 1 cycle on a sustainless team, and most of the bosses cannot really stop a sustainless team. So otherwise, yeah. Okay, now we're going to talk about my thoughts about her in every endgame mode and every boss that I looked at for this time. So the biggest one is that we will start in the order that we see here. So we start with Anomaly Arbitration, then we go Forgotten Hall, Pure Fiction, and Parker Shadow. So Anomaly Arbitration, I have shown that with Firefly, you can fight. Firefly wins, or basically easily three stars each and every fight here. With the Sportsy fight being the best of the three. So, and then of course Nikodor being the worst. Why Nikodor being the worst is just because of the 6-time tally. It's not Nikodor. Flame Weaver. With Flame Weaver being the worst, because Flame Weaver has the will have to be attacked 6 times. Reset automatically grants the target immediate action. It basically means give this boss a 100% action advance. Really? And another thing that I have to mention is that this specific fight is very tanky. And so if you compare the damage, the HP of each of these fights, this fight has the highest HP. Which basically means that you're not getting away with doing damage, you're not getting away with playing sustainless. Because the action advance will be enough to kind of kill you, because Flame Weaver does AoE damage, so you kind of do need to play Lingsha here. And then you can play your core. So of course, Nikodor is not particularly good, but not Nikodor. Flame Weaver is not particularly good for Firefly. It's okay, like for this anomaly of attrition. Sportsy number 2, Sportsy is incredibly broken for Firefly. Firefly is built to basically blow up Sportsy. Because how Sportsy works, Sportsy only has a blast attack, blast-based fight, where Sportsy will take out a target you're choosing and put them to the fight. If you saw the way I fought, even with a 10% damage reduction, the 10% damage reduction for everyone, I still basically one-shotted both phases. I one-shotted every time Sportsy slapped my Firefly into the other dimension. I basically one-shotted every single wave, which is so insane that basically I cleared this without even really sweating. So Stainless is by far the best one here. He can easily play Stainless because there's no threat to you in this fight. The first 2 fights here, these characters don't have particularly high HP because of their own 10% damage reduction. This Canvas Peacock is just annoying, right? As long as you time your Dahlia correctly with Firefly, you can basically kind of rush down the Canvas Peacock's 6 hit requirement. But really, that's it. Number one is also very easy for Firefly. This fight is more AoE focused, as in there's 5 mobs almost all the time, and the only time there isn't 5 mobs is when there's 3. So the first wave always have 5 mobs, the second wave will start with 3, and then this mob will split into 2-2, and then another 2-2. So this boss will split into 2, and then another 2-2, so 4 plus 1, so 5 mobs. So this fight being more AoE focused, Firefly is also very good at this fight. And as I showed, you can also play Stainless here, even though it's a little bit more tricky, because this boss specifically, or this mob specifically, had a tendency to do a pretty good amount of damage. Because there's so many of them that they will eventually take a turn, and then for every one of them that they exist, they do more damage to them. They do more damage to you because they start spreading out that points of damage. That's just that fight. Really, it's not much of a problem. So you can also do it. Okay, for King in Check, the Knight. For this boss specifically, this one is very suspicious when you play Sustainless. It's very easy if you play Sustain. And that's just because if you look at the boss, right? Oh, can I see the boss? I can, okay. But when you see the boss, right? As we saw for the fight, the first wave is very funny. It's specifically meant to counter Sustainless because the mob that starts automatically puts a dot on all your characters. Because you did so much damage, you basically auto-dotted your characters. Which is a little funny because that does enough damage to chip your character. And this boss specifically also has a tendency to auto chip your characters. So he is more AoE focused, and then she targets certain characters and she does something like 400 damage. But every turn they take a turn, they take a little bit more damage. So very finicky of a boss. Very tricky if you play Stainless, but it is possible. Otherwise, this boss is not specifically meant for Firefly, but Firefly still completely shafts this boss because this fight is also very blast heavy. So since it is a boss, you're focusing the boss, and it's like probably 2 to 4 little sprouts on the side. Firefly, being Firefly E2, or I have Firefly E2, she really benefits from the fact that those flowers keep respawning. And since those flowers keep respawning, she's just getting E2 path every turn. The only thing I have to say is that this boss is very tanky. If that boss still has the 6 balls that it has, as in you didn't kill 6 flowers, the boss is very tanky. So that's kind of sucks. Like you had the combination of you deal less damage in general with the combat, with the also bonus that this guy also takes less damage when there's this boss. So finicky, but Firefly still clears in 1 cycle. So that is still pretty good. Okay, that is anomaly overtaken. So let's go talk about Forgotten Hall. So in Forgotten Hall, we'll look at specific.
I haven't chatted with Sunny in ages. Let's go see what he's up to.
12, 10 is a joke. If we look at MOC 12 for this lineup, I tested out for both of them, and I can clearly, and then the biggest one here is that Firefly still did really well against Nicodor here, even though Nicodor is probably the worst matchup Firefly has right now. And that's just because Nicodor is one of those bosses that is both really high HP, really hard to kill. So, and Nicodor also has a tendency to do a lot of damage because this thing here takes away 50% of your HP, and since you can't really gain that HP back because if you place a stainless, you have to place a stand here. So in order to beat this, you have to place a stand. It sucks, but really, Nicodor, even though Nicodor is a very bad matchup for Firefly, Firefly still cleared it in 1 cycle. So the fact that she cleared in 1 cycle means, of course, the worst matchup possible. She still cleared incredibly fast. She still completely destroys this boss. So, yeah. Against the second phase, which is the more favorites for Firefly, Kafka completely got shafted. So as I played this fight, Kafka basically didn't get a chance. I started the fight with Kafka losing 60% of the toughness ball because Kafka actually has one of the lower end of toughness. So her toughness is 180 instead of the generic 160. This basically means that Firefly's slam attack at the start will basically shred like 60% of it. That's enough to kind of screw. That's enough to basically give you just enough time, weakness that Firefly's start of battle should be able to auto break Kafka, and that would basically do like maybe 60% of her max HP damage, 60% HP right there. And I basically blew her out of the water. I didn't give her a chance. Not to mention that Moonlight Pegasus is also one of those characters that are also pretty weak. So Pegasus got also kind of crushed. Because even though Pegasus is on the side now, because Firefly deals an extra 20 toughness damage flat and also has other more super weakness break effects or more weakness break damage or super break damage, the Pegasus will have nothing on Firefly. It's a joke. It's like this fight is pretty much nothing anymore. I know people always used to complain that the Moonlight Pegasus is always so tanky, but Firefly just doesn't care anymore. So, yep, that's MOC. So, to recap on MOC, Nicodor is probably the worst fight. To see any other fight, it's pretty easy. There's no other boss, I think, other than maybe Flame Reaver, that I would be worried about, where you have to place a stand. If you see Kafka, if you see Hule, all those bots like Hule, even Hule cannot fight against Firefly because Hule is too slow. Hule is like 220 speed, Firefly is 260 and a half. That's enough to basically just run him over. So Hule is not as strong anymore against the Firefly. Hule used to be a really bad matchup because Firefly, because Hule was so fast that he will always get on the weakness break. But since Dahlia's introduction into the game and the fact that you don't need to rely on getting the enemy toughness broken to do damage, it's not much of a bad matchup anymore. Okay, next up, the biggest improvement Firefly ever has, Pure Fiction. So in Pure Fiction, the biggest thing that we saw for E2, or I would note for E2 Firefly, is that she completely absolutely shafts it. She basically shafts the entire game mode. Like, she basically, because of how the boss is set up, there's always one boss in the middle and 4 enemies on the side. There's always 5 enemies, because Pure Fiction's an AoE game mode. Firefly completely one-shots the phase. Like, it's so broken that Firefly always gets E2 back every single turn. There's nothing that their player can do. So it's basically playing as if Firefly had double turns. So she's a 260 speed Agalia with Steely passive. That's basically what she has, and she has boss attack. So she can both blow up the main boss to do a lot of damage to the main boss, and she can also do a lot of damage to the 2 side, basically guaranteeing about 7% max HP damage, because each mob kill gives you 3.5% max HP damage to the boss. Firefly always will always kill those 2 enemies on the side because of how high her toughness damage is and her super big damage is. So she's basically doing 7% max HP on top of like maybe doing like another 1 or 2 million to the boss. That's probably an estimation of maybe like, that's like what, 20% for phase 2. So wave 2 is like 20% max HP damage for the boss, and for phase 3 it's about 8%. 8 or 9%. That is insane for a 260 speed character. She's just so fast, you can basically blow up all these characters. So I beat, and even then, as I showed in my own video, in the second fight of this, Firefly actually killed Sam before Sam even got a chance to get out of the weakness ring. Usually you think like, oh, Sam would be really strong to Firefly because Sam auto locks his, well, her toughness. Sam auto locks her toughness at the start of battle, and she doesn't get out of it until she does a little flame attack. The funny part is Firefly E2 completely killed Sam before Sam even got a chance. Sam did not get out of the weakness break efficiency. Sam did not unlock her toughness before I killed her. So that actually just shows you how broken Firefly is. Because Firefly can just do so much damage to all the little mobs to the side. She doesn't even care that that I can't even do much damage to Sam because she's not weakness broken. I don't like that was so insane to me that I was like impressed. I was like, wow, this unit just completely shafts Pure Fiction. There's no boss unless every enemy lost their toughness at the start of battle, which is very unlikely for bosses because that would shaft every break unit in the game and make Lingsha or make Rappa probably the worst character in the game if that happens. But not to mention Dahlia is this. So even the enemy blocks the toughness bar, Firefly still doing the same amount of damage to all the enemies because she always innately does a lot of high toughness damage. So all of that means that it's basically, unless they like really boost the HP of Pure Fiction, Firefly will completely dominate Pure Fiction at E2. No mob can survive it. Then no boss can survive the damage. You would just clear like not even trying. Like, you can probably put this on auto and Firefly would completely shaft the enemy because Firefly will always target a boss. And since Firefly will always target a boss, always 2 enemies will always die. You do about 7% every turn, and with 2% or 7% every turn of max HP damage, that's only like 15 turns and then the enemy died. Less than that because Firefly, you're not accounting for Firefly's own damage, you're not accounting for the fact that Rappa, Lingsha, Fugue, and Dahlia can also do damage to the target as well. However, I should mention you should not play Sustainless into Pure Fiction, and that's just because Pure Fiction have a habit of liking to move whenever enemies spawn in. They have a tendency to start at the very top of the bar. Since they have a tendency to start at the very top of the bar, they start like 20 action value. You're always going to get hit. So play Lingsha. Lingsha is just better for the sustain because you don't want to play Sustainless and then maybe break a run because your one target got focused. It's just way safer to play Lingsha or play Gallagher. That's all I'm going to say about Pure Fiction. So, in conclusion, Pure Fiction is insanely busted. Like, Firefly went from probably, like, being pretty good in Pure Fiction because you still did a good amount of damage, it just wasn't a crazy amount of damage, to probably be, like, one of the most overpowered Pure Fiction characters in the game because she completely shafts every single enemy in the game. There's no enemy that can stop her from E2ing every turn. Basically, the equivalent of saying Firefly had 100% damage increase. So, imagine if Firefly just had 100% damage increase for the entire game. That's Pure Fiction now. So, okay, last but not least, we will talk about Apocalypse Shadow. So, Apocalypse Shadow, of course, is a fight that's mentioned. If we look at the 2 fights that we see, we have Nicodor and we have Fei Zhao. So, like I mentioned with Nicodor, this specific Nicodor, Firefly is not particularly good against Nicodor. That's with this specific Nicodor. This Nicodor has 99 break, 99 shield thing, 99 armor, and auto lots of toughness ball while his armor is still up. And the fight that you have to do is to break his armor to auto break him, and that's how you get out of it. That's how you get the weakness break efficiency, and you get a lot of skill points. So Nicodor's fight here is really meant for a skill point based fight because every time you use skill points, you gain more of the armor breaking thing that equal to how much skill points you use. Or alternatively, for every time you kill one of the little swords that he spawns, that also grants you one more. It also grants you one extra of the thing. So specifically for Firefly does really well into Nicodor. it's still 1,600, 3,600 points, so 1,600 points plus 2,000 kill bonus. So this is still considered really good. Like the requirement to clear here, I believe, is 6,600. So this is still way above the requirement, which is 3,300. So it's still way above the requirement that you need to clear 3-star, to fully clear a Pocket Shadow. Otherwise, this is not a boss I would recommend to play Firefly on. And if you do want to play Firefly, or you don't have any other option, so you don't have, say you don't have Dun Hung, you don't have Ultra, which should be weird because Ultra's free, and you don't have Sportsy, you need to play Sustain because this fight would take a long time. You're going to get hit, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, really, and that sucks. Like, so this team is the team I recommend if you're playing this. You play a Firefly, a Fugue, and a Dahlia, and you play Lingsha here, and you just play around Firefly being super fast. She will inherently eventually gain enough points in her little damage that you will do enough damage to break the 99 shield. And once that 99 shield breaks in the second phase, Nikodor challenge dies. So still, it's a pretty unfavorable fight, but still pretty good, basically what I'm saying. Okay, for Fei Zhao. Fei Zhao is specifically for it's a Firefly fight. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, this is a Firefly fight. Like, this is by far the best character in the game to beat this is Firefly, because how Fei Zhao works is Fei Zhao has innate damage reduction while she's not moving. So maybe someone like Finon would be fine here. Maybe someone with Castrus may be fine here. Like Castrus with Bobby, the Moto Rem could maybe do enough damage to just blow through the damage reduction anyways. Because see this enemy has Steadfast Safeguard, which is like 25% damage reduction, why not weakness reduction? And then on top of that, in order to kind of mess with people, she also has an increased 40 toughness. So if you specifically do not play Super Break or you don't play any break thing, it's going to be even harder to break her. That's really it. And see, take the 50% less damage and then whatever. So when it comes to this fight specifically, Firefly is really overpowered for this fight. And that's really because Firefly is one of those characters, because of how Firefly now has really high toughness damage, and this fight specifically has four enemies. 2 on the side, Fei Zhao, and then the big head wolf in the head. So it's an orb, a hand, Fei Zhao, and a wolf head. If you those 4, Firefly can pretty much blast 3 of them. And as we saw, Firefly didn't on the second phase. Firefly didn't even break Fei Zhao in order to get through, in order to kill her. Firefly did so much damage. Firefly broke through the damage reduction. Because eventually when she broke, the damage reduction went away, and the 50% damage reduction when the boss is down to weakness broken didn't matter. It didn't matter enough that Firefly could just blow through it. So otherwise, for the fight, you can play Sustainless. I would recommend Sustainless here. This boss is not as aggressive as Nikodor, even though as long as you don't let her take a turn. The fact that she has increased toughness damage is kind of annoying. That's a very annoying thing. It just makes it slightly harder for her to kill. But in the end, Firefly's innate toughness damage, and on top of the fact that her blast hand now has an extra 20 flat toughness damage on top of that, this is basically the same as saying you have 20 less. So with Dahlia, this is basically nothing. And then I would say, like, I will summarize for Fei Zhao, Firefly is way favorable for Fei Zhao. I cleared it in 3,917, I believe. 3,917 is basically the same thing as saying I only took 2 turns. I only took 2 Firefly turns, and then I basically blew up Fei Zhao before Fei Zhao really got a chance. So, good boss overall. I would give it thumbs up. And then when it comes to any boss in the game, there's no boss other than Pollux that would be an issue here. Only reason why Pollux is an issue is because Pollux specifically wants you to heal. That's it. And Firefly team is not very good on the sustain. Because Firefly even though Firefly is good sustain, the other 3 characters, especially even the Ruan Mei, their sustain is pretty trash. It's pretty garbage. So I would not recommend her to play against Pollux. But even then, if it's Pollux, right, the next character is usually never Nikodor, and always some other random boss, probably Kafka, maybe Revenant, maybe Revenant Shadow, like all those bosses, that's nothing for 5. 5 completely blows them out of the water. So even if this fight is unfavorable, the second fight is probably almost favorable for Firefly. So in conclusion, for Parker Shadow, Firefly is insanely broken. Like Firefly is still the best one of the best characters to deal with Parker Shadow. She basically gets to ignore a lot of the phases because she innately has really high damage. She innately has really high toughness damage. The boss doesn't auto-lock the toughness. Firefly completely just shafts that toughness out of the water. Because Firefly can do maybe like 100 and like probably 110 toughness damage just by hitting them. And since these bosses usually have like 400 toughness, that's nothing. Firefly completely just blows it out of the water. And then the specific buff gives everyone a 100% action advance when it's quick like this one. That's even better. That's just 1 free turn for Firefly. 1 free turn for Firefly is more damage. So otherwise, I do hope if you have any questions regarding Firefly, I'll be happy to answer them. Like if you need any build suggestions, like please don't hesitate to ask. Otherwise, I will be playing around a lot more with Firefly in the future. I mean, I already do play a lot of Firefly. Firefly's my favorite character, but I would still play a lot of Firefly. Still play around, especially with the buff. Her buff had made her feel really strong. Probably one of the best DPS in the game. Maybe she's like the 3rd best DPS in the game. Sure, she's just behind. MotP because MotP is broken, and then she's probably behind Silver Wolf 99 or maybe Spot C, because that Elation team is also very strong. But otherwise, being still for a character that's almost 2 years old, being the 3rd best DPS in the game while having self-sustain, really high base, really high damage, really speed, like really fast character, and it plays in a team that's uniquely also very tanky, while also being really good on sustain, even if you don't play any form of sustain. All of that combined makes Firefly one of the best characters, one of the best teams in the game, just for natural clearing of all 4 game modes. With Firefly E2 specifically completely crushing Pure Fiction, with Pure Fiction no longer posing any threat to Firefly, especially at E2, a Parker Shadow posing no threat to Firefly, and then Anomaly Arbitration being also a joke because Firefly can completely blow through each of the 3 fights here. It doesn't really matter which 3 fights. Of course for MOC, the only fight that really kind of is iffy is maybe Nicodor, but even then, since these fights don't have major gimmicks, they don't have like the 99 toughness, the 99 over Nicodor for Parker Shadow. There's nothing that really can stop Firefly. Even lot toughness is not enough. The only fight maybe I could consider is Pollux and Nicodor, and that's just because they are very hyper specific on what you need to do. With Pollux being really high HP, and Nicodor being all about attack efficiency or needing sustain. Otherwise, in summary, I will summarize the bosses here. When it comes to bosses, the newer bosses like Sportsy and stuff, they are not a threat to Firefly. Even this new boss here is not a threat to Firefly, because Firefly can always try to deal with it. The only 2 bosses that I can think of that are much of a pain right now is Nicodor and Pollux. Even though Sam is also in the game, Sam is not a big enough issue to deal with it. So Sam is relatively doable even with a sustainless Firefly Comp. Anyways, like I said, I wish everyone the best of luck if you do pull for Firefly, who's on the current banner right now. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Anyways, I will see all you guys later or whenever I post in the future. And have a good rest of your day. Bye bye.